All right, welcome back, everybody. One of the most beautiful insects on Earth is in danger, but there is hope. Experts are doing everything they can to save the majestic monarch butterfly.
Last month, the International Union for the Conservation of Nature added the migratory monarch butterfly to its red list. That does not sound good.
No.
Of threatened species, listing it as endangered.
So what can we do as a group, our population, our humanness, to make sure that they don't disappear completely? Here now to tell us more is Mary Phillips, head of the Garden for Wildlife with the National Wildlife Federation. We're so happy to have you, Mary, and we're so glad that you're talking about this issue. First of all, can you talk to us about why are monarch butterflies important to the ecosystem?
Absolutely, and thanks for having me today. Monarch butterflies are phenomenal. They are indicative of all the insects and pollinators that we have in our country today that are at risk. Their habitat is at risk, and this amazing journey that the iconic monarch makes from Canada to Mexico and the habitat that it has to go through is actually disappearing at an accelerated rate. Oh. And that's not just affecting the monarch, it's affecting all of our pollinators and even our other wildlife.
That's awful.
Mm-hmm.
Awful.
You'd never like to hear stuff like that.
Okay.
Well, so why is the monarch facing extinction? What are some of the main causes?
Yeah, so it's the habitat loss. We lose approximately 2 million acres a year, both to agricultural development and urban suburban development nationwide. And so that's one piece, but also the use of pesticides and chemicals. There's a lot of chemicals used in agricultural area. The largest swath of where the monarch comes through is called the Central Flyway, and that's really what's called the eastern population, and that comes through from Canada, through the central part of the US. We also have a lot of beautiful butterflies coming through the East Coast, and in Connecticut this time of year is when you're seeing them into early fall. But people using chemicals, whether it's agricultural or home use, actually destroy, they systemically get into the insect species, especially if those are used on milkweed, which is the only plant that milkweeds, right. That monarchs can survive on.
Mary, there's a statistic here that I'm looking at that I'm wondering if it's a typo. It says that we're down 90% from 10 million monarch butterflies in 1980. 90%, is that true?
Yes, it has been. And this eastern population, because of the work of so many people really trying to save it, had a slight uptick this last year. But over the last 2 decades, it's been about 90%.
That is remarkable.
Yeah. Well, I understand why you would think it's a typo, because it's just so...
It's so staggering.
It's so staggering.
You're right.
What can we do really to help?
Well, here's the good news. There's so many things, and I know there's a lot of great folks in Connecticut planting for the monarch, planting native milkweeds, the orange butterfly milkweed, swamp milkweed. Those are some great native varieties that you can plant in Connecticut. And that, like I said, it's the only plant that the monarch can raise its young on. The caterpillars have to eat those leaves in order to survive. They get certain attributes that protect them from predators by eating that, and it's absolutely essential. But you also want to surround that milkweed with beautiful collections of other native plants for nectar all the way through fall. So asters, goldenrods, those kinds of things. And at National Wildlife Federation, we've had such a demand for those kinds of plants. We've actually been able to provide collections that can be shipped right to folks in Connecticut to plant and start these monarch gardens or supplement gardens they have.
I have a woman that I did a story with years ago. Her name is Donna Malone. She's a real estate agent here in Connecticut. She actually raises these butterflies in her home in like a huge container, and she provides the milkweed, and you watch the whole metamorphosis. It really is an unbelievable process.
It absolutely is, and we really encourage people to plant that, stance of milkweed and actually observe that outside, so they can naturally fly away. But it's awesome. The caterpillars eat this. They become the chrysalis, and then the chrysalis opens. It is actually amazing to watch.
That's
and so inspiring. And it's actually, it's good for the ecosystem, but it's good for our souls. It's actually being surrounded by this wildlife, and the beauty of these native plants is such a solace solace. And we've seen a 50% increase in people creating gardens. We have a program that we certify gardens nationwide, and it's just been phenomenal over the last, particularly 3 years, where all of us have had a lot of challenges.
Well,
that's very encouraging.
Absolutely.
To hear.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Mary, you're an angel on earth. We want to thank you for your time. Thanks God for people like you who are trying to help.
Well, thank you, and thanks for having us today.
Oh, our pleasure. Our pleasure.
Thanks, Mary. Well, for more information on how you can help the monarch butterfly population, visit gardenforwildlife.com, or you can follow them on Instagram at Garden for Wildlife.